Hello and welcome to Capricorn Makes. I'm Stacy and my goodness, I mentioned I was sick in my last video, which was like a month ago, and this has pretty much been the first week that I have not been sick to the point where like I have had laryngitis so bad I haven't been able to talk. I cannot tell you how much cabin fever I had. Good news is that I have actually finally, I feel like I have recovered. I've had enough time to like rest, because that's all you can really do when you're really sick. I have been reignited with craft projects, like wig making. So Woolfest happened again. I'm not going to do a video this year unless people are really interested. I mean, I think it's fun to see what people are doing, sort of, but the main reason I'm not doing it is I'm really lazy and I already put away all of my wool into my storage bins and I've got a project in front of it. That project being my friend's wedding dress, because I love her very much, and her dress fell through, and I told her I would make something for her, and we are doing that. So that's what I'm going to be busy with the next little while. But I have been wig making. I went to Woolfest, I found some locks, I found these, and I also found some like really, really, really long alpaca locks that are really lovely. They're super soft and they're so nice. I'm looking forward to playing with those. But I'm like, oh, I want to make a wig out of this purple stuff that I found, which is really lovely. It's mohair, it's adult mohair, it's super shiny, it's very saturated. And so I pulled out my latex, which is just like this. But I bought it a really long time ago, and it was like, I opened it up and it was like gray and black and smelled very terrible. And I was like, I didn't know I could do that. And then I realized that this stuff only really has like a 6-month shelf life. So I went out and I bought a new one and I wrote the date on it, so that I know basically its best by date here. And I put a whole bunch of dolls together, 5, 6, I've done 7 head caps, which end up looking like these little wrinkled things. I like working in the latex because you can, like, it sticks to itself really well and you can just bond it to itself. I think that's pretty great. This is what it looks like when it is on, like in progress. I just sort of slapped this one on so it is especially bumpy, but I didn't think that particularly mattered terribly much. That's okay. But yeah, these things kind of remind me of like birth calls or something like that. They're on your face, you take them off and they're just kind of gross. It's fabulous. I'm enjoying it a lot. But yeah, so like everybody was sitting on my table looking like cultists or like murder victims or something for several weeks, because I didn't put them away. So they're all sort of finally back in here, and I'm trying to decide if I want to finish them up now or not. But I did finish one wig that I'm really happy with. This is my first time. This is my first time making a wig where I didn't use wefts. I was trying to preserve individual curl structure, so I just sort of spread them and put them on fairly freehand. This is together, but it is not cut. Like, this isn't the final cut. It's going to be just cleaned up just a little bit. I'm thinking I'm going to try and style it so that it's a little bit less wide. And then I'm going to go through and sort of clip these up so that they're a little bit more shaped. But this is the general shape of what I would like. Her eyelashes came in, but I didn't want to put them in while I had the plastic on them, because, you know, this is what they look like. They've got saran wrap and all of this on there, and I put rubber bands on there, and it's just easier if they don't have their eyelashes on. But I really like this. Do I think this is going to be her permanent wig? Probably not. But I really love it. But as far as it being like some impromptu fiber that I just happened to find at an event that I had an inspiration for. I'm really quite happy with how it turned out. Let's see. So I've been angsting a little bit over my dolls. So as I said, I had a bunch of resin come in all at one time, and I kind of got overwhelmed with the amount of projects that needed to be worked on, the amount of things that are just unfinished and not undisplayable because they're gorgeous blank. But I think you know what I mean. Like, just, I hadn't, like, I wasn't sure where to start, and I tend to be a production craftist. So if there's, like, there's a reason I put 5 wigs together, or, you know, 5 dolls out for wig caps and did 7 wig caps, or more. I maybe have done more. Because I like to be able to do things like, if I'm getting all the supplies out for it, I may as well just do all of them. But then of course that turns what could be just a quick and easy, I'm just going to do this one thing, into, well, now this is just really big and takes a lot of time, and not exactly the best thing when you also have like 20 different projects you want to do for like 7 or 8 dolls. So yeah, needless to say, I had gotten kind of a little bit overwhelmed, and because my heads didn't match up for my boy doll, so now I have 2 heads and a body, and all 3 are floating, and I basically have just put them away. I put them away. I put my I just put them in a box, but then that left me with all of the MSDs, and I'm just like, well, I have plans and things that I can do with these dolls, and then I have the big Supia girl out still because she's together enough that I work on her and sew on her and things like that, and it's fine. And I was I'm trying to think of like how I best want to present this, because I've done like a lot of wrangling. So I had a couple of things all sort of come together that resulted in some really interesting decisions. The first one was I found a really interesting sculpt for one of the other characters in Anthem's story. And I'm trying to remember, his name is Pharaoh, I think, and it's from Lucenko Dolls. That may not be right. If I remember, I'll put a link down to him in the bottom, but he actually looks like the character, the picture that I drew of the character like about a year ago on my Instagram, and I'm just like, yeah, that looks great. But he's fashion sized. He's a fashion sized MSD. And I'm like, you don't, like, it definitely doesn't work with the DFA practice head that I had originally wanted for Anthem. So I had been considering a really long time ago reshelling her into Illume Dolls, Rana or Risha. I hadn't quite decided what direction I wanted to take that, but they will, like, that particular doll will look quite good next to this other fashion scale doll. So then I was like, well, if I'm going to be moving Anthem, if I'm considering moving Anthem off of this head, I should just do it. I should just, like, what am I going to do with this head? I don't want to get rid of it. I'm attached to it. I've made modifications that I really like to it. And so I had the idea of turning it into, I'm just going to pop the wig cap off here, turning it into a boy to go with Nanette. Because I did have like quite a few characters that were sort of, they're character ideas that I thought would be fun to explore together without actually having a proper set in its own story. But I was, and the body that I had been interested in, which was the Akagi doll 47 centimeter boy body, was on sale, like a really good sale, 20% off sale, and with no actual end date for whatever the event sale was. And I was just kind of like, you know, this is not the last time this body will go on sale, but I just really, like, there are things that I'm not keen on about it, but like, I really like the hands and I like the posing, and like I can forgive the funky square hips and the weird elbows, because the weird elbows don't seem to get in the way of posing, and the hips look like they can be sanded to look a little bit more natural. But yeah, I don't really sound all that convinced, do I? But it really wasn't about the body. It wasn't about the doll at all. And I had been sort of, it didn't come to me that what my problem was not the body, because I was actually having a discussion with my husband about another body, which was the, so Baimong is going out of the doll making business, and he's just released is it the Nare 40 pose body? And it's lovely and articulated and gorgeous, and there's only 100 of them that are going to be made, and he's not making any more, and like he's not even going to be in business anymore, and you know, so, and I was talking with my husband and he's like, well, why don't you just get one, because this sounds like a really good opportunity. And I'm like, well, and I don't really feel like I could give him a very good answer, but getting permission from my husband, which isn't exactly what happened, but getting his endorsement that getting this doll could be a good idea, I had to sort of figure out why, like, that actually made me less inclined to get the body. Newsflash, I didn't get the body. Yeah, I've decided against it. Like, there were some aesthetic things that I wasn't too keen on, but mostly I came to the realization that the stories that I want to tell with dolls, from a photo perspective, or from a, like, the clothes that I want to create for them and possible sets that I want to make for them, almost none of those stories are actually taking place in MSD scale. Like, the 1/4 scale sculpts that are available don't make my heart sing for the sorts of stories that I want to tell in those mediums. And that's really important. Like, that is a really super huge revelation for me to come to, because it instantly clarified a lot of the like little unsettled whisperings that I've had about a lot of things. And it's like, yes, there are loads of MSDs that I like. There are lots. Like, I could name like 20 different sculpts probably, of ones that I'm absolutely in love with, but I would get them and then they would all just be standalone dolls. Not that I actually want 20 MSDs, that sounds like a little bit much. But just like the sorts of things that I wanted to explore were not appropriate for what I was finding. And I definitely am not really all that keen. I'm actually not really all that keen to move over to fashion scale. I don't know if it's like other than Dolce and some of the artist dolls, I don't know if there are a lot of fashion scale dolls that have a nuance of emotion. They all sort of have that blank fashion doll look, which, if that's what I was going for, like, if that, like, I think that's fine, and I think that is useful in the context that it's meant for. I don't know. Like, it's not, again, they're not dolls that are helping me explore my crafts and tell the sorts of stories that I want to tell, which is fine. And so I came to the decision that I'm going to get out of MSDs, which means that I immediately, like within 24 hours of realizing this, bought that Akagi doll pie for this head. Because getting out of MSDs doesn't actually mean I'm getting rid of all of my MSD dolls. It just means that I'm finishing up the plans for the dolls that I actually have, and I'm not making any further plans to get any other MSD dolls unless something that really grabs me for the doll itself comes along. which I'm okay with. I actually feel way better about this. And I don't know why it didn't occur to me before. It was just one of those things that like, it was just flying under my radar as to being like one of those reasons why I was unsettled. I don't know why this didn't occur to me before, but I feel like it solved a lot of my problems. Problems, that's the wrong reason. That's the wrong thing. But it definitely simplifies things for me. So my MSD plans are, this body is coming in, and I may have to mod the neck hole just a tiny bit to get it to fit, because there's like, I don't know, like a quarter, not quite a half centimeter difference with the body being bigger. So we'll see how that fits. I have the hiccups. It's so charming. And then I'm going to get her a long sole, the 42 centimeter, however tall it is, body in white skin, for her body, and then this body will go back to Noe. Because I had been looking at other options for Noe. I really like Noe on the Bat Chicks Lagoon body, and I had really considered it, really considered it. However, as much as I love that body, which I'm going to be doing a review on soon, I think, because I actually have Euphorbic Scold here for a visit, so I might do a review. As much as I really like that body for Noe, and I like the aesthetics of it, if I don't want to be putting more money into MSDs, and my only one regret when I looked over my MSD list was that one body, it sort of, which I know looks good with the Lorena head because there are lots of people in the hobby that have it, so I've seen it. I know it's a good hybrid. It's gorgeous. The resin matches fine. I mean, if she's painted, it doesn't really matter anyway. And so I'm like, okay, those plans, draw a line under that. I'll just wait for a future long sole event. I'm fine. We're good. We're good. We're good. So, but that means that Anthem is going into limbo, essentially. This guy will be getting new eyes and a name change and a wig and a new face, because I bought him a normal scale body, I bought him a normal skin body, and he's gonna need a new face up anyway, because I'm gonna need to, and so I figured I'd just color match to the new body because I thought that would be fine. And I was just making a wig cap in preparation for that, so that I kind of have like a brown curly, shortish but not super short kind of thing going on. So it'll be interesting to see if I can pull that off. I'm excited about those plans. Speaking of eyes, do you know what happened? Soul in a Box Eyes finally came out with their small iris line. And when I saw that, I was just like, yes, 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 because I love all of their colors, but I know that none of them would fit in any of my dolls, almost all of which require small iris eyes, except for Zaveda, who's the Seed Doll's wall head. But she has those big round bird eyes, so she can take like huge eyes and have it look normal. But everybody else, every single other doll that I have, would really look better with small iris eyes, just for the whites coverage and positioning. I believe I was her first sale and they've been shipped out, so they'll be here in a few weeks and I'll be able to show you those, though I might not be able to do it particularly well on video, but I'll be excited to have them. I got a brown color, and I think it's dark hazel, warm hazel, dark hazel I think is the colorway. And so I don't know who will get them. I really like brown eyes. I actually like lots of her brown tones in her eyes, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. That's really exciting. I have been waiting for ages, ever since she announced that she was looking at making them. So, speaking of making eyes, I have been starting to seriously look into like, what do I need to do to start casting my own eyes? Because as much as I really love like loads of the eyes out there, I have a lot of dolls, and I plan on getting more dolls. And they all need eyes, and they all have weird eyes, and so conventional eyes, like, there are lots of people who are making gorgeous eyes that I just know don't fit my dolls, and I'm just like, no, no. So, it really stands to reason that with the price of international shipping and the price of eyes, and if I know I've talked about this before. But I've actually started the research process and the, like, what resins do I want to get, and, like, how do I, like, get the finish that I want on my molds, or, like, where do I have a good place for drying, and, like, what do I want to do? So that's been fun. Like, being sick, you get a lot of time to read, assuming you're awake enough to read. So that is one of the ways that I've been filling my time for the last month. And that's probably one of the next big things that I'm going to get into after I'm done with the wedding dress. SD plans. So, Meek's doll, who I believe that today is the last day for the Murphy pre-order, though it may actually be closed by the time that this video goes up due to the time differences, so it might be done now. But her first head was finally up for pre-order, and she's announced a few more, including Laszlo, who is one of her most recent sculpts, and boy howdy is he ever gorgeous. And because of his size, I know he will actually fit on that long sole body, and he's perfect. He's just fabulous. And she's probably not going to cast him until late in the year, which is probably good because I won't be able to afford him until late in the year. But I'm happy to keep that guy in a box until Laszlo comes out, because I want him. He's fabulous. So yes. So speaking of heads, I was going to be selling my Supia Dreaming Rosie that I had gotten as a gift with my body, but I don't particularly enjoy it on that body. I think the head feels way too small for the body. It could be fine, like, once you get it all set up and with a wig and everything, but I really feel like Edria's enormous head works on this body really well, and I think a lot of boy heads that are in the 65 centimeter range with that 10.5 centimeter neck will look good on here. And Rosie's just so much smaller than that. I think she probably needs to stay on a 60 centimeter body. But I am not heartbroken. But I was just like, I don't really want a closed eye doll or a dreaming doll. She's not a closed eye doll. She is a dreaming face. But I don't really like the Rosie with open eyes. There's just, like, there are people in the hobby who have them, and I really love them. And then I just think about having a Rosie in my collection and going, no, that's not for me, and I am not really sure what it is. And then there's this person I follow on Instagram who, can I remember her name? No, I really can't. But she has one of the Rosies that I really like, and I always love seeing photos of this doll come through my feed, until I realized one day that it isn't a Rosie. I think it's a Rhoda. That's, you know, they are actually fairly similar in like face and mouth and nose shape. They just have vastly different eyes. And I realized that this Dreaming Rosie head would work just fine as a Dreaming Rhoda head. And then I am like, oh, well, if I do that, because I really like sort of like the open-eyed, sweet, innocent, sepia nature of this other doll, of this other sculpt, I was like, well, I think I'll just hold on to this head for now and maybe see what comes of that. But that's very, very, very far future plans. And that's okay, you know, and plans may change, and you know how these things go with a hobby. But I have a new set of things going on. I feel like I have more direction, which in turn is making me feel more engaged with the dolls. I'm just sort of like brimming with ideas and trying to keep myself moving again rather than getting like caught up in, I have so much to do. So hopefully over this next week, I have a lot of other things going on, but I'm hoping at the very, very, very minimum to get his wig put together. I hope. I have fiber for it somewhere. I just emptied out all of my bins containing fiber a couple of days ago. And I collected all of my locks together and put them in like a bag that's sort of easy to pull in and out. Because I had them stashed by fiber type because that's how it made sense to have them before. But I've put all of the wig appropriate locks into one area now. And the bag containing the locks that I'm hoping, the brown locks that I'm hoping for his hair, has completely disappeared. I have no idea where it was. I have found one tiny little baggie that has like a sample of what it is. But I have not found the actual big bag of it, which is a little bit concerning. So fingers crossed I don't actually have to dye anymore. Like I have dye and I can dye more locks to the right shade of brown. But I would prefer not to have to do that because that will definitely set me back a little bit further. But yeah, I'd really like to not have to go that route. So I'm hoping to get his wig done because having that sort of together will help me inform quite a lot of things. I actually kind of want to get the wig sorted so that when I do his face up, I can get I can make his coloration like that, because I would like him to have darker coloration, I think. I'm still planning on doing like the natural alpaca, like the super blonde wig for her. And so I would like him to have some contrast, so I'd like him to be darker. I actually kind of want to give him kind of a ruddy complexion, I think. And like my pictures on my Instagram have him in blonde. It's actually her wig that I have moved and put a hat on. So he's in blonde in the pictures, but that's just because that's the only piece of stuff I had for him for when I was like, oh, this could be a good thing. But yeah, I want to get that because the tone of the fiber, like is it a warm brown, is it a cool brown, is it a dark brown, is it a medium brown? That will really inform like what I do with his eyebrows and everything later on down the line. I feel like there was something else I was going to do. Oh, I do remember. Where is it? There was something I was going to show you. I went thrifting. I have picked up a few things. I need to actually get a thrift video around, but I actually found this really cute little sweater, which it needs a wash. It's not stinky or anything. It just, like, it could use some softener to sort of help it. Like this is folded because it clearly was stored all funny. But it's put together really well and it's really cute and it's big enough for the big Supia girl to wear as sort of a, like a short, quarter, you know, half sleeve cardigan. And I just think it's super cute and I am looking forward to trying it on, but she has been all mummied up with her wig cap and I'm not ready to take that off to try it on yet, so I don't have any pictures. So I will get all that together so that we can see that. So maybe next time I will dress her up and make her a couple of things that she can wear with us, and we'll get to see this on her. Alright, I think that is everything for now. Thank you so much for joining me. I am really hoping to be back on a regular video schedule because I have missed this, you guys. I love being here. I love, like, it is just so much fun. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.